LMS. I think overall, it has been a positive feedback from a lot of you, in a sense that the content was good. You got a good framework to start off research, how to do literature review, uh, and at least the learning videos were very short and concise. The templates were helpful. A lot of good feedback if you actually look at it. And yeah, the first feedback that I would want to give everyone is, so whatever we have done, a lot of it is from our own learning within the EdTech department. So when we started off the educational technology department, we had what I mean, 5 or 6 college teachers, very young researchers from very diverse disciplines. So a lot of the learnings from these have been captured in these idea proposal templates, or the study planning template and paper planning template that you would see further down. So a lot of it is a distilling of the learning that we learned via the hard way. I mean, the doing way, so to say. A lot of it, uh, it also means that it is also really hard for a beginner, because a lot of it would not have been broken down to a very minuscule activity or a minuscule concept. And there is a conscious reason for that, because if you actually look at the IPT, if you are able to fill the IPT to almost 70 to 80%, you'll be confident of pushing one paper out, because you are able to understand how novel or how well your idea is with respect to the current research or the current context that you are operating in. And the other part of it is also, all of this, in a conference papers, we look at incremental evidence. So we don't expect too much details. And it is also not possible in some sense to condense a lot of different studies into a single conference paper. So what we are looking at is a very small piece of uh, aspect that is very well detailed out, very well fleshed out, and has been very concisely written. So this is something that we actually look for in conference papers. And we hope that at least by going through IPT and by reading through a lot of related work, many of you also got some idea into what research means. And yeah, all these are I will not, as I said, we also have went through the entire drill, that understanding the concepts and specifically the research jargon seems to be really hard. And okay, I'll park down the assignment management and instructional design for some time, but the two important aspects, the time management and communication, communication with your buddies or the people whom with you are collaborating, that is always very difficult, especially when you are distributed physically, geographically, also distributed. So I would not, this is a massive and Herculean effort. I should give you kudos for persevering even now and persisting with your ideas and providing feedback. Things are not going to get better now, but things, now that if you have found your rhythm, it is going to be a little bit more easier for you to collaborate and manage time. I think that would become a little bit easier compared to the other part of it. Regarding assignment management, okay, we do take the feedback that filling that entire IPT as an assignment might be a problem. But there is a very conscious reason for it. If you actually look at IPT, even though it is very big in size, in an actual paper, the IPT actually is just 2 pages maximum. 1 or 2 pages, maximum 3 pages. Assume that you are putting a 10-page paper, then it would be like 30% of your entire paper. It wouldn't be more than that. So if you don't have that, and you need to have that end-to-end idea, especially when you are positioning the work and when you are trying to figure out where exactly your work is different from the others. I mean, you all your research questions and the other things are actually driven from this positioning part of it. Okay, so what really happens is, uh, even though it may look very daunting, just think of it from this perspective. I mean, it is only 30% of your larger thing. And if you, and many a times, I mean, as researchers, what we do is we internally, our mental models will be to just park it into 2, 3 bullet points, and we will expand the bullet points sufficiently. So think of each of those questions as 1 or 2 bullet points. Okay. And that bullet points get expanded. So you don't have to write too much stuff uh, as answers. Whatever is a smaller thing, make sure that you write it very clearly, concisely, and you are filling out the essential details of one small item. And that's all what is important. So for example, I think there was a research study on online learning. I mean, online learning has been there now, what, for 30 years now, ever since inception of internet, early 1990s. Computer based learning were there. When internet came in 2000, that became the next thing. So, and COVID of course accelerated it a lot more. So what is so novel about online learning now? I mean, that's an interesting question to think about. And I would say, now that COVID has gone, I mean, or the pandemic actually forced us to do a lot of technology uh, integration into our daily life. I think we should look at online learning in a different context. I mean, even this is online learning. So this is not a formal online learning. All these are methodologies, or there are a lot of these events that are happening, which may not be exactly courses. It could be workshops. So something that otherwise would have happened in a physical college as a 1 week workshop, faculty development program, or any other kind of thing, has now been dismantled from that physical entity. We are putting a technology infrastructure around it. So your assignments, this Google Meet, so all these become these technology affordances, or so to say, your classrooms and worksheets, etc. That it is getting transformed into that. And what is happening now is, are people able to understand the affordances that this new technology provides? So for example, let's have a quick okay, let me get a quick poll over here. How many of you have been using mobiles for listening to podcasts? Okay, so I'm just yeah. So I'm just putting up a poll with this meet right now. So I just want to quickly understand how many of you use mobiles for, I mean, learning. So I mean, over here, I'm defining listening to podcast as a form of learning. So we have almost 27 people. Let's see how many respond. So you will see the activity coming up. So there will be a button called activities over there. In that, you will see a poll being popped up right now. So the activity button is that with a triangle, square, and a circle. If you click that, either on your mobile or on your web or your laptop, you will see that a poll has been created. Now, if you actually look at the literature, I mean, so okay, so for all those people who are who have mentioned that they do listen to podcasts frequently. Can you put out a couple of themes around which you listen to podcasts? You don't have to give the exact podcast channel name, but if you could put out certain themes around which you generally listen to podcasts. What kind of podcast do you listen to? Okay, how to communicate better, self care, good. Uh, Self improvement, okay. Career planning, very good. Music related, instructional designing, educational content. Wow, breakdown of sitcom episodes, rewatch. Okay, nice. Yeah, entertainment also has its place. So I listen to Freakonomics. So I listen to public policy, economics, and couple of software engineering kind of uh, podcasts, and of course some for general. I mean, general chit chat podcasts that are typically about movies, musics, inspirational talks, life stories. Okay, so here is a question to all of you. I mean, among all of us, I mean, let's say there are just 26 of us over here, and if we just talk about the kind of podcasts that we listen to, and since you have been, I mean, it will be stored in your mobile medium, you will have an idea of approximately how much time you spend in a week on podcast, right? I mean, you will have that data available in the respective podcast uh, things. It could be Spotify, it could be Google Podcast, it could be what I mean, Anchor, whatever. So whatever is the podcasting app that you look into, you have your own podcasting data available over there. I mean, how many type of inspirational talks you have listened to, real life stories, and over the course of the next 20 minutes, if we were to type in 3-4 important pieces of information and generally look at this chat data of, okay, in a 1 hour session, people discuss about the kind of podcasts that they listen to and the kind of themes that are uh, that are prevalent in them, and try to look at a broader classification of uh, what do you say, I mean, let's take this as a workshop. So in this workshop, what are the different kind of themes that we are able to touch upon, and where we can provide some additional information in terms of knowledge or some facts, something that we can put in. So podcasts etc come now in the space of informal learning. So what happens is, even this particular session with this kind of data, when you analyze the data and drive it around a common question, it's a fantastic piece of research. It's a small research. I mean, there is nothing fancy about it. I mean, there is nothing novel about it. A lot of people listen to podcasts. Okay, there is a group of people who are attending an educational research workshop. They listen to podcasts, and we want to see how informal learning helps in podcasts. And maybe then, as an extension, let's take a look at, okay, if this course was offered in a podcast form, how will that podcast be, right? I mean, if the instructors and the participants sit together and then restructure the entire thing into a podcast. So the design activity came in, and they restructured, I mean, we restructure the entire workshop content into chunks, and we break down activities and then provide a particular thing. So what happens is that entire exercise, I mean, we understood what informal learning is about. We figured out where exactly people would get more benefited from our own experience. That gets transformed into a learning content altogether, which is again given back in the same format. Now, this is a fantastic piece of research with a research outcome also. I mean, very tangible outcome also. And these are the kind of things that would be interesting for a conference audience. So it's not necessarily, I mean, So imagine yourself going and sitting in a conference and listening to these kind of smaller ideas. Now, this is a practitioner kind of idea. I mean, there isn't fancy research around it. Some basic research, okay, why podcast? What does it help? How do you do analysis? These kind of components help us drive it. But at the end of it, it is a practitioner output, a podcast series on how to document educational research. Now, suppose there is a teacher who wants to put a little bit more interaction and engagement in their own classroom. For them, the idea of podcast itself will be a, I mean, very novel thing, right? And you are talking about individual participants' experience, maybe the kind of content that emerged. So a lot of things, if we actually structure it carefully, it can actually be an interesting conference paper. And this is what people come to conferences for. They come to conferences not for, I mean, yes, there is a segment who come for the deep research part of it, but a lot of people also come for, okay, what can they take away that they can bring in their own practice as well, right? I mean, along with all the deep research that's happening and its results getting out in a conference, especially for a conference like T4E, these kind of ideas would be very innovative and very interesting, because it is targeting the Indian teaching community, teaching and learning community. So the point over here is to understand is, I mean, yes, the learning modules may be difficult, but each of the time that you try to uh, go through the content, also think of interesting ideas like this. Now, if something like this comes in, how do you fit it in the IPT model, right? Who has done it? How have they done it? What have they measured? These are the things that will help you better understand, okay, how good your idea is. So, so the meta point to take away from here is, yes, it is going to be hard, but at the same time, it is also interesting. So somewhere we have to strike a balance between the hardness and the time that we are allotting to these kind of activities. So once you do that, this becomes a very interesting and productive activity that you can continue. So it becomes ingrained in your habit. Okay, so every day, I mean, let's say just like how you listen to podcast, write down 2 ways in which this seems to be interesting, how it could be positioned. I mean, just this very act of doing this over multiple iterations will help sharpen your skills for positioning ideas. So, and this kind of workshop is primarily meant for that, and that is why the content is also difficult. So the people who cross over with that difficulty, the subsequent kind of learnings that happen to you, it becomes much more easier. Only that initial learning curve is harder, and all of you would by, I mean, all of you would also agree with me. The more simpler you keep the content, I mean, if you want to really get a deep point across, the time taken to with these smaller steps may become significantly large for an average student. Okay, so an average person who is looking at it, who doesn't have that much time, who doesn't have that ability to put in effort, it's going to be really harder. So in some way, the IPT also act as a very good filter for us also to understand who can go ahead, who will be able to persevere, and who will be able to catch on to the key ideas and move ahead in research. Okay, so uh, that's one part of it, and the insights that all of you have given for IPT. I mean, it really reflects this, right? I mean, there are these complexities that are, I mean, there are very few people. So if you look at the three segments, the positive comment, which is at the top, so that is such a small part of it, right? I mean, it's, I mean, if you look at 100% thing, that would come somewhere around 10, 15 to 20%, not more. The complexities and challenges are slightly bigger. I would put it somewhere around 40%, 45%. The remaining is a mixed set of it. Even over there, you can see a lot more of the difficulty or the complexity kind of comment versus the ease or the thing that it was meant to be. So, for example, IPT was simple and comparatively easy from other exercises. I don't know who gave this, but yeah, I mean, if you felt that it was easy, I mean, you are on the right track. Do really well. Yes, yes.
I have a confusion and sorry for this question because I missed week two. But what do you mean when you say IPT?
So
And
IPT is idea proposal template, which is
okay,
nothing but assignment one.
got it. Yeah,
Okay.
thank you.
Yeah. Sorry. I mean, just to be clear of terminologies. Yeah. I mean, we should, Nandan, we should have a mapping table at the start so that people can connect to the acronyms that we use. Yeah. So I mean, again, the whole point over here is it is going to be hard. Actual learning is hard. And if you actually look at it, I mean, this is also good methodology that you can teach your children also, right? I mean, if there is a difficult task, going about it, exploring it, understanding it, I mean, even simple things like vocabulary, mathematics, science, anything, I mean, if they approach it in this manner, wherein they look at, okay, what is happening, what are the other things around it, okay, now how do I understand it better? Do I have something which I can do a little bit more? Maybe I mean, I may want to seeing ABCD in a reverse, I mean, from Z, Y, X, W. So if you do it in a chronologically reverse order, I mean, what are the skill sets required, right? I mean, so if children start thinking about these kind of ideas, I mean, the way they and especially that, I mean, because if you are able to uh, tackle that learning curve very early, then it becomes easier because then it's all processes and minor refinements that you have to do towards the end. So the moment you come to the actual paper writing, you will find that almost 90% of your work has been done by that time. So you just have to take things from here, polish it a little, and now you have LLMs with you. So if you want to rephrase, if you want to polish an idea, you can actually have a conversational bot, and you can do that with the LLM. I mean, maybe another interesting idea, Nandan, for next year is if we can have an LLM as a research buddy. I mean, that would be really interesting experiment that we'll be running. Yeah, jokes apart, I think so. It is okay that it is challenging. Do not worry about it, and it is meant to be challenging. Okay, so it's not that we didn't want an easy assignment at first. It is meant to be challenging, but the rewards that you get after doing a challenging assignment is even more. I mean, for the people who have not submitted assignment one also, just even putting that effort to complete assignment one, you will realize that, oh, you have actually understood the basics. Okay, so the the key aspects that somebody has to put in when they are looking into improving their practice, those things are captured, especially when your domain is educational technology, that is being captured in these IPTs. Okay, so this is something that I wanted to convey. And in terms of the people who have submitted, I mean, I'm glad that people who have not yet submitted have also given feedback. It actually shows engagement. So something that I want to really upfront say, uh, it's not just, I mean, assignment submissions are not the only metrics with which we look at you. I mean, your perseverance, your whatever I talked about till now, even that constant engagement, constant connection with us, even how many of you are doing assignments. So I see that around 20% of you have revised your IPT, which is really good. 30% of the people who gave feedback uh, revised but have not yet submitted. Some have submitted but have not yet revised it. Okay, but which is okay. I mean, let me be very open over here. The purpose of the workshop is never to say that force you to write a paper. Okay, the purpose is not to force you to write a paper. Imagine that you are planning to document, this workshop should help you to document it really well. I mean, you may not submit it in a conference, but even if you write a blog about what you practice, having these IPT, SPT kind of templates with you and the prodding questions that come in that, that is very important for you to, I mean, improve your practice significantly. Okay, so yeah, the other part, of course, is okay. I think on the left-hand side, the curve that you see is the number of times people have contacted your research buddy. Uh, I hope that's, yeah, frequency of meetings held with the buddy. I mean, across 9 responses, they have connected with their buddies, which is really good. Uh, and I see that, okay, I think 20% have not received the feedback from the buddy, hence no submission. Perfectly understand that. Nandan, maybe these the ones in the red, it might be useful that we take a look at it and give a feedback. Okay.
Sure.
I'm also really, I mean, very happy to see that 6 of them have received feedback from the buddy. 2 of them converted it into idea revisions, uh, and 4 of them are yet to turn it in. Uh, okay, there is one case where there is a little bit. I mean, people are not on the same page. We'll figure out what we can do. I mean, this is always a process. I mean, it's a back and forth. Do not get disheartened. I mean, see, just like how it is for you. I mean, even for many of the research buddies, this would be a first-time experience that they are trying to guide a different research idea. Okay, so it is absolutely possible that there could be ideological differences, but we will try to smoothen things out. Maybe we can have Nandan, let us also schedule a smaller session wherever people have issues. Let's try to have a common conversation with them, try to understand and figure out a good path through which they can progress further.
Yeah, sure.
And I mean, like the graph, what the graph showed, there is, it is really heartening to see that you are receiving uh, good support, and you are also pointing it out in the feedback with us. So, which is really, really heartening for us. Yeah, and I think this is almost universal. I mean, when there are two different people, I mean, scheduling a common time, especially when both of them have another full day work and different kind of responsibilities, it's going to be a challenge. Okay, so I mean, let's have that elephant in the room. We are not disregarding that, but the point of this workshop is also knowing very well that there could be such an issue. How well can we connect? Okay, so think about the improvement that you made from a simple idea to maybe an idea proposal, a refined idea proposal, maybe a refined study proposal. I think you have to measure your own learning journey progress rather than comparing it what others are doing. Okay, so I think the point for every participant is to make sure that they look at their own, I mean, where they were a week prior, how are they now, how much improvement has happened, how much you are able to better understand. And this is going to be iterative. I mean, you may come up with a really good thing and then you will see, oh no, I have to go back and start from zero. So but that process is something that all of you should really understand. That's part and parcel of research. Okay. I mean, really, yeah, really heartening to see such detailed feedback. I mean, this was originally a workshop which was supposed to start in somewhere end of January or February. That would have been an ideal time. So we would have been with you for almost 3 months, three and a half months, and then converted into a paper. Uh, and yes, I mean, logistics concerns are there, but every time we run this, what we are trying to do is refine it for the next cohort, do a much more, I mean, the past, learn from the past and try to improve little by little in each of our revisions. Um, so I think good to see that more than half of uh, this is research buddies who have given a feedback, uh, good amount of submission, I mean interactions happening, and they are also saying that the participant has been proactive. So 57% actually are saying that the participant are proactive. And yeah, these are the kind of support which are being provided: framing research questions, methodological guidance, scope and focus, initial feedback and follow-up. Each of it is critical. Do not worry about it. I mean, if you are a research buddy and you feel that, oh, you haven't given your best, I think it is okay. I mean, this kind of setting, doing an informal research mentoring is not an easy process. We are trying our level best to manage things, but it's okay. I mean, small incremental uh, what do you say gains are also useful in the longer run of the workshop. Of course, I see that there are equal amount of challenges for research buddies as well. It's really hard. I mean, I'm telling you, even as a guide, when you are a research guide, I mean, I mean, I reminisce about my times when I was a researcher. There were, I mean, weeks when I didn't go to meet my supervisor. I would just run away when they were there. My scheduled time, I will just skip, and I'll say, "Oh, I haven't done anything. I'll come next week." So that's part and parcel of it. It's okay. But for research buddies, something that's very important, and this I get from my own supervisors. Just I mean, your mere presence over there and just asking, how are you? Even asking casually, are you getting time? How are things? Even these questions can be very supportive to your mentee, because see, the thing is, you're not, like I said, we are not forcing them to write a paper. Okay. For even for research buddies, the idea that we want you to take back is, it is okay if your buddy does not, at the end, does not write a submission for people. It is absolutely fine. But even if they write even a single blog about their experience after going through the IPT exercise, something that they changed, even if it comes as a blog or even as a mail back to you saying, oh, I did this, I was able to see this kind of difference, I think you should take that as a win. I think that's what the whole process of mentoring is. I mean, you are there just to back them. You are just there to guide them. Ultimately, the work is going to be done by them. So, depending on their time and priorities, a lot of time you will actually see that the progress week on week is very minimal. But not losing hope and persevering with your mentee is very important. Okay. Because that goes a long way, that builds a trust. At least your mentees will know that you are there, come what may, right? So I think these kind of in the sense that uh, I mean, for example, I mean, some of the buddies are actually getting mentees who are really hardworking, which is good. But I mean, it is absolutely probabilities over here. I mean, we didn't know the backgrounds; we just knew the idea. We tried to make a kind of partnership going on, and I mean, it may or may not work, right? I mean, there is equal chance. It was a 50-50 when we started off, but it's good to see that there is a significant amount of you still working with the buddies and bouncing off ideas. I think that's important, and that's please do continue that. Even if, let's say, your mentee is not responding, it I mean, it is absolutely all right. Yeah, yeah, Shasvi.
So given I have already communicated this that I was a bit late in catching up with the like previous 2 weeks contents. I have not been able to work on the idea myself, and hence not been able to respond to the Padlet as well and get in touch with a research buddy who can guide me. So is it too late for that exercise, or is there any scope that I can still request somebody to be a research buddy after working on the idea, of course?
Yeah. So, okay, the question is opened up to the buddies over here. So here, I think I don't have a role because, but I think there are a lot of buddies who are waiting to get a mentee or whose mentees are inactive. So any of the buddies want to work with, I mean, want to comment on this? Okay, there's a stunned silence. I thought somebody will unmute and speak up. So Yashasvi, from the workshop perspective, there are buddies whose mentees are not active. So something that we can definitely do is connect you with a buddy. I mean, of course, we would also have to look at the idea that you are uh, taking up, because we will also want to see which buddy would be interested in this idea. That's something. Yeah, yes, Pruha. Go ahead, please.
Yes, so what we are doing, Yashasvi, is that if you have submitted an IPT, at least one, initial draft of your IPT, then we are trying to definitely pair you up with a research buddy. Yes, same for Gauri also. Please try to submit one form of IPT, one draft of IPT, so that we can circulate it among the research buddies who are available and find out who are interested, and then we can pair you up.
Yeah,
That is a
definitely.
prerequisite so that they have something to initiate the discussion.
Noted, noted. Thanks, Pruva. We would work on it. I just wanted to check that if like, do we can like still get somebody to guide us? Yeah, would work on it and submit it timely.
Yeah, I mean, so the first comment over here, I mean, this is something that I want to tell all participants, and this is a novice mistake. I mean, you tend to aim for perfection. I mean, you would want the exact answer for the questions. You want your idea to be the best, uh, which is fine. I mean, absolutely fine. But I think putting it out, giving it for review, and getting feedback and improving upon it is much more important than waiting for that one final product, which is perfectly perfect but its time would have lapsed, right? So it is important that you put at least one version, like what Spruha said. Put that first version in, get the connections going on, then work on it, improve it further, and then see how things are panning out for you. I mean, throughout the mentoring process. Okay. Okay, so these are the numbers that I see. Significant amount of you. Okay, nice animation, and then I think really, I mean, we should all give a clap for everyone. Not just because they submitted. I mean, they have put in that effort. So really, really good to see this. What do you say? I mean, I see a research buddy also submitting an LBD, which is also fine. So I think congratulations for all of you. The allotment list is given over here. I hope you have been able to connect to your buddy, and you are able to discuss ideas. I think yeah. Nandan and Spruha are on top of this, and they have been completely running this. So, Nandan and Spruha, you may want to take the next part of this, where I mean, about the schedules and other things, and brief the participants about what's in store.
Yeah, thank you, JK. So these are the we revised the idea proposal assignment one deadline already to this Sunday, and the study plan submission is the initial deadline is this Sunday, but I think that we have to extend that deadline to maybe one more week. So maybe we can extend to next Sunday for the study plan. That is assignment two. So I request all the participants to submit your assignment one by this Sunday, and we are extending the assignment 2 deadline to next Sunday. That is the information about the assignments. And a general comment about, so when I was discussing with participants and research buddy, what I felt is that uh, so when you're during the meetings, I request you to when you are what to say, you are setting your goals, no, make it small manageable goals instead of uh, saying that I will write this particular section and then only I will meet the research buddy. Practically it's difficult, so I suggest you to make manageable small goals, like reviewing one paper and meeting your guide, meeting your research buddy, like that. So that will give you also some kind of motivation when you are achieving a small goal. That is a motivation for you to improve. And uh, so your initial plan should be like create a study plan with manageable goals. And the other suggestion is that what I understood is that people are waiting to complete the task and then only meeting their research buddy. So one suggestion, actually, my research PhD thesis guide also used to give me is that you work hard to achieve that goal, but if you're not able to achieve that particular task, uh, but meet me anyway. Like, don't say that I couldn't complete that task, that's why I'm not meeting you. So you schedule a meeting date, maybe once or twice in a week, and uh, meet the guide, meet the research buddy in that allotted time. Even if you are not able to complete that task, meet. Because while meeting, even with my experience also, if I am not able to complete a task and I am struggling to do that, during the discussion with the guide or research buddy, based on their experience, they will suggest you to maybe a different path to achieve that goal or something like that. And during the research process, this is a very natural phase. You will struggle a lot at different levels. Maybe at the initial idea, idea proposal stage, or maybe in the study plan stage. So there are different struggling phases in this journey. So how to overcome that struggle is to discuss with your buddy, discuss with your peers, and how they are talk to them how they are overcoming that challenge. You can also copy that strategies. So schedule meetings with the research buddy and meet them. Even if you are not able to do complete that task, meet them and talk to your challenges with them. They will guide you. So these are the some suggestions from our side. Also about the Telegram communications, I request all the participants and buddies to. I know that this is a different platform. You are very active on maybe on WhatsApp, and this is a different platform. The only reason to stick on to Telegram is to have you on to keep your anonymize your mobile number. That is the only privacy is the only concern to stick on the Telegram. uh, but I request all of you to regularly check your Telegram group and messages, because it's difficult to communicate over email always with, because sending an email and waiting for a reply is an time consuming task. So I request all of you to keep an eye on your Telegram channel. JK, can you go to next? Yeah, so this there are some concerns shared by participants, like they are not getting research buddy. So the criteria we set for assigning research buddy is that you should submit an first draft of idea proposal template. That is assignment one. We are not saying that you should submit the complete strong assignment one. We are saying what we are the criteria is that submit the first draft. You will always have the time to improve that assignment one by discussing with your research buddy once allotted. So submit the initial draft, then only we can will get some idea about your research idea. And this also an indication of the uh, uh, that you are active in this workshop. Like we initially we had 70 something participants enrolled. Now around 36 participants are on phase 2, and there are around 10 participants are on phase 1. So participants in phase 1, we are some of them are yeah, conveyed us that they want to be in phase 1. Like they are only completing the assignments and getting the certification. They are not going into the study phase. And some of them are not respondent to our inquiries about are they still active in the workshop. So we try to contact them multiple times to understand their status of participation, but we couldn't get their responses. So we right now we are putting them in the phase 1 of the workshop. uh, so uh, uh, so right now if you are able to, if you are interested to move to the phase 2, that is conducting study, uh, you can till Sunday you can submit your IPT. If you submit assignment 1, that is IPT, we'll try our best to connect you with the research buddies. Spruha, do you want to add something?
Um,
So, some of the participants had this query that I have not been allotted a research buddy at all. And some of the research buddies had this issue that I need to discuss in detail. And sometimes the participant may not be even satisfied with the research buddy response. So that is also a case that can we can consider. In that case, you can use ChatGPT and get its feedback to your idea in the current available state. It might be the one that idea that you had posted on Padlet, or it might be a draft of idea submit planning template. So you can share it with ChatGPT and ask its feedback. Consider those suggestions and try to improve those your prompts so that the ChatGPT may stop giving a generic response and give you a specific instructions. And you can share your synthesis of those inputs from ChatGPT in some way with us, so that uh, uh, how you are trying to improve based on an LLM's response, that also can be captured. The good thing that will happen is you won't be stuck after the first submission or the first upload. So that is the way to just keep in momentum of going ahead. So this is a suggestion.
uh, uh, I have a
Yeah,
clarification.
Kaushik
Can
has
I?
been busy. Yes. Please go ahead, Kaushik.
Uh, See, when I started working with the second phase, I started feeling like I have to again revise my IPT. So I have to. I am strongly feeling that I have to revise it. So can I go ahead with that? And the second query is, so in the portal, I may not be able to resubmit. So I have to mail it, right?
Yeah. So
Yes.
yeah, so the idea of IPT and SPT is that you are always welcome to refine it. Once you allot a research buddy and start working on them, you should, we strongly encourage you to submit the refined one. You can email us the revised IPT and SPT.
Sure. Nandan, thank you. You did hit that point. Whatever you said, that's the same mistake that we were making when we are unable to progress much with the template. So
Yeah,
we were feeling like inferior to talk to our research buddy.
yeah. So it's a common mistake that we also do. Like that's why, because based this is not your just issue. Uh, when I talk to many of the participants and buddies, they're also saying that we are waiting to complete this task and then only will talk to my buddy. And
Don't worry, it is there even after PhD also. So I can assure you of that as well. So don't worry about it. There are enough people traveling in the same boat. But these things actually help. Communicating. I mean, yeah. I mean, so this I should not be telling. That is why I had Nandan and the others tell, because something that I believe is you should preach only when you practice. So so one thing is always try to keep that communication thing going on. And yeah, it helps. In general, it helps. First of all, also to, and it's hard. Okay, it's the hardest part.
True, I agree. The
Maybe
templates are
related to
so good
this.
and it is so driving that. So any novice researcher also should be able to, if they even go into the template filling mode, but still they'll be able to do a good job, I feel.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, see that IPT I'm telling you now, almost 70% of your research would be done with that IPT. I mean, the research itself is on identifying novelty and positioning. I mean, if you are able to do that really successfully, I think a big chunk of your task is cut out. Then the others are basically mechanical. Only I mean the finer idea generation. I mean the synthesis of your results alone is the most difficult part of it. Otherwise, I think once you do your idea generation and positioning, I think that you are almost there.
Yes, thank you.
One suggestion for all the research buddies also, Nandan said, set manageable short goals. Similarly, also give, like, entertain if the doubt is very small also, because in some research buddy may give you an advice that complete the literature review about this idea, but that is a huge task to give for the participants. So if you can meet them once they have selected some papers and what they have read from that, so that would be a short goal rather than completing a research literature review. So you can set up such short goals for the person, and also participants can then meet you more often. That would be a way to you know,
Yeah.
tackle the bigger sections.
I also one more suggestion is to so consider this as a community. So whenever you face some challenges and if you're able to solve that challenge, share those success stories, challenge stories in the Telegram group. So others also, all of them are moving in the one direction, one goal of writing, conducting study, writing paper, and all. So you may also face similar challenges in your journey. So sharing this such as the stories and the solutions in the Telegram group will help other community members also. So that is another. So this also will help you to save your time and doing the same mistake that did by other members. So please be active on the Telegram channel. Share your stories, both positive and negative stories in the Telegram. JK, we don't have any other discussion topics. Maybe we can keep it open for any questions
Yeah,
from
yeah. I
participants.
mean, questions or comments from participants. I think. See, I mean, I would strongly urge all participants to try using GPT. I mean, it's been I mean, not because you have to explicitly take it, but I have found myself using some LLM or the other on a day. I mean, on a daily basis when I want to refine idea, when I want to get some summaries done. I mean, it's also about the kind of questions that you ask. Uh, I mean, something that I gained from my PhD is how to search effectively in Google and Google Scholar. I mean, the same thing. It's a very useful skill. Use GPT. I mean, I'm not a power user, but I've seen people using it really, really well. As in, they get the contents idea. They even get methods, etc., clarified really well. So, I mean, maybe for the first few iterations, you may try. It may go slightly wayward. Don't believe the citations and the other things, but ask more pointed questions. The very art of asking the questions will help you gain a little bit more understanding on the subject. And yeah, something that I generally use is not just the OpenAI version. There are these other versions which also give you resources. So, for example, Find, PHIND. That's a very useful LLM companion. There is also, I think, which one is it?
Quillbot.
Huh?
Quillbot. Quillbot.
Query bot. Okay, I have not used it, but yeah, I mean, so there are things which actually give you with links and I mean, from where they have Bing, for example. Bing surprisingly is pretty good. The Copilot and Bing, I think that's a good combination to look at. They also have very good resources, and sometimes it helps. I mean, we tried. So I've tried Gemini. So I rely more on Gemini, but GPT 3.5 Turbo is really good. Uh, yeah, and other, I mean, Mistral, any of the other applications that you want to try out, I think all of them are pretty decent over here. Any questions from anyone, either the buddy or the participant? Yeah, so Kaushik and Yashasvi, I think both of you have your hands raised.
Yeah.
Sagarika, yeah, Yashasvi, go ahead, please.
I just want, it is a very generic query. I wanted to check with you if, for the T4E conference that is supposed to happen in December, will the organization be taking in papers from people other than this study group, or like externally people can submit?
Oh
Uh,
yeah, I mean, anyone can submit. The call for paper is out and it has been distributed through multiple channels.
yeah,
So it is definitely, I mean, it is not restricted to this group. This is one additional effort where we dedicatedly try to see whether a community effort can actually help.
yeah.
That's all.
Okay, okay. Thank you. That's it.
Yeah. Sagarika, you have a question?
Yes. Hi. Am I audible?
Yeah.
Just checking with the deadlines for the abstract and for the full paper. So there are two dates. Extended date is also there. So is this the extended date is for the T4E or for us?
Uh, this is this is for T4.
Okay, cool. And for us, it would be June 30th for abstract submission and July 7th for paper submission. Am I correct?
Uh, no. So the T4E initially it was June 23rd, then they revised to uh, July 20th. So they extended 1 month for the submissions. So that is the extended date. So we can follow this date. Maybe we can we'll talk to the program committee, and maybe we can get 1 more week for the
One more week will
extension.
be tight, Nandan, because by that time it will be August 7th, and we also need to complete reviews.
Mhm.
So one suggestion for all participants is if you can turn in your abstracts by July 15th, that gives you enough time to submit by July 30th.
Okay. So July 15th for abstract submission for us and July 30th for the full paper submission.
Keep this as internal deadline. The actual deadline is 23rd only, but keep these as internal deadlines. That will help you to uh, work towards paper submission. Okay. Uh, any more questions? Any of the buddies have questions? Okay. Looks like okay, so yeah, I think we are done in an hour. So thanks a lot for all those 27 odd people who joined today. It's been nice interacting with you over the last 1 month. We hope so. There is one more month ahead of us. I hope that a lot of you will continue, will write the IPTs and SPTs. Please go ahead and continue with it. And of course, as Pruha said, there are a lot of EdC events that are happening parallelly. So you would want to really look at each of them. I mean, attend some of them, maybe even recommend them to some of your friends in case you are interested. So thanks everyone. Looking forward to seeing you. I think the next meeting, we when is the next meeting set up, Nandan? We haven't had a schedule. Maybe somewhere towards end. I mean, first week of July, it might be useful to have one more meeting. So that way the buddies will be more active, and we will have some concrete ideas of how many of them are progressing towards T4E papers, how many of them are actually using other methods and modalities. I think that's very important. Okay, so that's it from us over here. So I'll stop the recording now, and Spruha